The bond trick: how debt creates empires and collapses them. One. Every empire believes it has found new wealth. History disagrees. From Rome's clipped silver to today's bond auctions, money bends to the same unyielding laws. They are not written in charters. They are unearthed after collapses. Fail to see them, and the game will always tilt against you. So what does that actually mean? It means debt is not innovation. It is recycling risk. Footnote. Empires mistake debt for invention, but history shows it is repetition. 2. Hamilton's trap: debt as bloodstream. After the Revolution, the U.S. government owed soldiers, merchants, and allies. Bonds replaced IOUs. Faithful payment earned investor trust. Success, but also a trap. Old debts rolled into new ones. Borrowing became permanent. Debt was not an emergency measure. It became circulation itself. Footnote. Hamilton's reforms turned U.S. debt into a permanent feature of finance. 3. The Federal Reserve enters the stage. Banks collapse too often. The Fed promised stability. It quickly became more. A partner in U.S. borrowing. In World War II, the Fed funded the war by buying government bonds in unlimited amounts. For the first time, America could create money to cover its own expenses. The trick was born. Footnote. The Fed institutionalized debt financing by directly supporting Treasury borrowing. 4. Nixon severs the last anchor. Until 1971, the dollar was tied to gold. Then U.S. spending, Vietnam, domestic programs, outpaced trust. Nixon ended the gold standard. The dollar floated. Money was no longer metal or promise. It was belief. Trust became the currency. Footnote. Cutting gold tied the dollar's value entirely to investor confidence. 5. The modern bond trick. The Treasury spends beyond taxes. It issues bonds. Investors buy. But when demand falters, the Fed steps in. With keystrokes, it creates money, credits accounts, and purchases treasuries. It looks like America lending to itself. It is. So what does that actually mean? Debt is financed by conjuring new money, and inflation is the bill. Footnote. The Fed closes gaps by creating new money to buy U.S. debt. 6. Crises prove the trick. Banks collapse. The Fed launches quantitative easing, buying trillions in bonds. 2020. Pandemic hits. Same playbook, bigger scale. Politicians avoid tax hikes or cuts. Citizens pay instead, quietly, through inflation. Footnote. Crisis responses deepen reliance on money creation and shift the cost to the public. 7. Winners and losers. Winners, politicians who spend freely, banks and investors who ride liquidity, foreign powers who still treat U.S. debt as safe. Losers, ordinary citizens. Savings erode. Prices rise. Wages lag. Inflation is the hidden tax. Footnote. Inflation transfers wealth from wage earners to asset holders. 8. The empire pattern. Debt sustains power, until it doesn't. Britain's bonds built an empire until World War II debts broke the pound. France used credit tricks until revolution toppled it. Today, U.S. debt exceeds $30 trillion. Foreign buyers retreat. The Fed fills the gap. Fragility grows. History echoes, empires collapse when faith runs dry. Footnote. Empires fall when investors lose confidence in their debt. 9. Why it matters now. This is not abstract. It is your grocery bill, your savings, your mortgage. Every treasury bond purchased with new money reduces the value of the dollars in your wallet. Inflation feels like theft because it is a silent transfer of wealth. If trust in U.S. bonds cracks, the system unravels fast. Footnote: inflation and fragility in debt markets directly impact daily life. 10. The final lesson. The bond trick explains why debt never falls. Why both parties borrow endlessly. Why inflation feels permanent. The empire runs on illusion, until it doesn't. Financial literacy means piercing the trick. Asking, do my savings survive inflation? Do I own assets that hold value? Am I prepared for trust to break? Because when reckoning comes, Washington won't pay. You will. Footnote: understanding the bond trick prepares individuals for the costs empires hide.